One of my central takeaways from this class emerged from a discussion on David Westerland's paper on insiders and outsiders in the field of African religions. For some reason, I keep circling back to my interpretation of his argument that insider knowledge is the key to understanding the complexities of religion. Examining religion from the inside out, according to people who practice themselves, and considering each human's individual spirituality as well as their collective identity, allows us to paint a picture of religious thought beyond the broad arguments made by anthropologists or sociologists. For most of my university career, I've been frustrated with theory as a standalone explanation for things happening in real time, so I wanted to challenge that by seeking out insider views on religion in my own community. Quickly, I ran into a problem. Almost none of my friends are religious. Here's what some of my friends said.
No. I mean, I would say I'm agnostic.
I would not consider myself a religious person at all.
Sometimes I think I would consider myself more spiritual, but definitely not religious.
No.
Nope.
No.
No.
Not particularly.
I was raised fairly religious, but I currently identify as just spiritual.
My only outlier was Owen, who said he had been raised Catholic.
Yes. I grew up going to Mass with my dad most Sundays until I was about 8 years old. And, I never went to CCD or anything, but I think it definitely stuck with me. It's like, it's sort of hard. I think it's sort of hard to live life thinking that there's nothing going on. Like, there's so much that's not known. It is sort of grounding to have something up there.
I was surprised that more people didn't share Owen's sentiments. In fact, this was all a bit surprising to me. If 85% of people on this earth identify themselves with at least one religion, why did 95% of my own friends deny even the idea of it? Looking for answers, I decided to consult the internet. I asked Google why people are religious, and the AI overview brought up some plausible answers, such as finding meaning in life and coping with uncertainty. Naturally, then, I wanted to gauge how my supposedly non-religious friends find meaning and cope with uncertainty in their own lives, if not through a higher power.
I think as the basis of my understanding of the world around me, I tend to use more like scientific understanding.
Science in the sense of like history and things happening before that are happening to me.
Specifically, I feel, though, that most things you can't explain. I think, honestly, like a sort of semi-religious part of my view is there's always, you can always find humor in something.
I think trusting that things will make sense in hindsight.
I don't necessarily think I would say that it's logical, but I think the meaning is revealed with time.
I just think there's some things I can't understand, maybe. That's fine. I don't need to understand, or everything needs to be explained.
I'm really okay relinquishing to myself to the fact that I'm this little thing and that I really don't know and I likely won't know, but that doesn't mean that there can't be any peace in it.
Cumulatively, it seems like relying on science, humor, and the power of time, or even just relishing in the unknown, remains some of the most dominant logic for the people surrounding me. Perhaps it's because we're in the last weeks of our university careers, and it's always nice to be able to compartmentalize the abyss of postgrad. But it seems like everyone has some sort of strategy figured out, strictly separated from any sort of religious belief. Still, I wanted to know more. Somehow, despite all the eloquent, agnostic answers my friends were giving me, I was not convinced that we live completely detached from all aspects of religion. For so many of us, religion has the connotation of formality, associated with church gatherings or Shabbat dinners. Even though my friends did not describe themselves as formally religious, I sneakily wanted to see if I could find elements of their lives which perhaps were religious in essence but disguised as secular. I settled on two categories, rituals and sacred or symbolic items. When asked about rituals, some people, like Tisha, Giselle, and Pippa, sought out activities of reflection and introspection.
The practice of like gratitude would be like a big one. Summer and winter solstice as well. Going somewhere outdoors, like even just going for a walk and like sitting and reflecting and meditating.
I'll try to journal and just like sit with my thoughts.
I meditate every day. When I'm in a place outside, I really try and like slow down. Like I'll try, if I'm alone, to just like take moments to like, I guess, kind of meditate outside and be like, maybe it's less like a me-centered meditation and more like I'm in this place and think about all the living stuff that's going on around me. Just like as all the little things that are making this big collective. But
for Tula, Esty, and Owen, on the other hand, rituals provide them with a connection to their body, their thoughts, or even their past.
Exercise is a way to like attach myself to myself and like feel like I am some sort of physical being. When I'm in flow state and I'm alone, that's when I feel the most like myself.
So my long walks are like a big part of my life.
Yeah. I do push-ups in the morning, and I actually can't leave the house without feeling like weird.
How many?
100, 2 sets of 50. Well, I have to read for like 40 minutes before I go to bed. And again, if I don't do that, I just won't sleep. I've had a ham sandwich for lunch, a ham sandwich with butter and mustard and on white bread since I was like in 6th grade.
As for the material things, I found that my friends have a tendency to assign value to items because of their attachment to a person or memory, or in some cases even superstition.
Letters and notes from people.
My dad gave me a mala when I was little.
I have a whole like binder of things that I've kept. I have like a pair of like socks like that I really liked. My watch is my grandfather's watch, and it's a great watch, but also really I love wearing it because it reminds me a lot of him.
I have this weird superstition where if I am having a run of bad days, I have to change all my jewelry. And I, of course, have my lucky necklaces that I'll go to and I'll grab if I'm having a string of bad days.
Yeah.
Photos of my past self. I have a sweater that I bought in Norway that I really loved. Bike that I want to keep after Montreal that will remind me of my time in Montreal.
My stuffed animal monkey.
As a non-religious person myself, I suppose I asked these questions because I have sacred rituals and objects as well, which help me when I feel lost or question my identity. I sat down with my notebook to write about my most sacred practices, and I kept coming back to one ritual in particular. Here's what I ended up with. Monday, April 14th. I have a pretty new ritual. Every night before bed, I drink peppermint tea. I started drinking peppermint tea because I saw a video about the health benefits, probably on Instagram Reels, and because my roommate Florence drinks a lot of tea and is generally level-headed. Perhaps come summer, come big life changes, I'll be done with peppermint tea. But right now I find it hard to fall asleep without peppermint tea. When I first started drinking peppermint tea, I made myself believe that peppermint tea kept bad things from happening to me. That's a lot to ask of a very small tea bag. So when bad things inevitably happened to me, I forgave the peppermint tea. Peppermint tea cannot protect me, but it reminds me of something above me. Peppermint tea helps me create patterns in complexity, balance to overcome precarity, everyday regularity, warm, hold it in the palm of your hand solidarity. Every night before bed, I drink peppermint tea, and my eyelids shut and I fall asleep. I've said a million times that I'm not a religious person, but there's a chance I never knew what religion was in the first place. Perhaps I'm stretching David Westerland's argument or taking it all out of context, but I believe that we're all insiders in our own religious studies. Individually and as integral parts of the communities we occupy, we formulate our own interpretations of everything we cannot explain. Though most of my friends are not religious in the traditional sense, they find meaning in friendship and daily tasks and learning. Inextricably intertwined with our sense of self, our personal and collective cosmologies are worth reflecting upon and honoring by immersing ourselves in the feeling of strength and love and understanding. I have strung our thoughts together along with some visual snippets of meaningful moments of connection in order to reflect the most valuable lesson I learned this semester, both through this class and in life. To be vulnerable is to embrace everything we don't know. A religious act or not, I think vulnerability, in this case through introspection and articulation, is perhaps the most powerful act an individual can express. As a final question to my friends, I ask them what they believe in. I'll leave you with some of their and my answers to this question, interspersed with some of my friends' reflections on spiritual and religious experiences that I especially enjoyed for my interviews. This video could be a lot longer, but I'll end on this note of honesty and vulnerability from a lovely group of people.
Do you really believe in the fact that, like, when it comes down to it, your life is really about the the amount of connection and love that you have in it, and um, like whether it be little or big, like menial love is really important too.
I believe in connection or love and just that there is something within all of us that we can like find on some level to relate to people, even if like on the surface it doesn't seem like you have much in common.
I believe in human nature. This morning I was home alone and I was like listening to music in the kitchen and just like drinking tea and making my lunch and just like I was like, I'm so me right now.
I believe in good times.
I believe in the power of community.
and even when we went to church, I kind of also thought of it like, oh, I'm just gonna go hang out with my friends in the basement for a while. Um, so yeah, I feel like religion was never. I guess it was more about community from the beginning than actually the religion.
Like acceptance, maybe?
I believe that everything will make sense someday.
I believe in like good. I believe that there is good and there is bad, and I think that everyone is trying to do their best to be good. I go to La Petite Marche and I watch traditional music every Monday, like every single Monday, and that's definitely a routine like that. I don't know if it's religious, but I go there and it makes me feel a lot better.
I believe in all beings being equal on this earth and working together. That humans are not in have superiority, and that we all need to learn and work together.
Believe in either love or nature. I used to, when I was a kid, I used to do this thing. I used to use like, I'd say like, it would be lux, but it would be something else. I used to like, really like force something into the universe. It would be crazy because I would use them very strategically, and like in my brain they would always work, even though like sometimes if it didn't work, it would be like I wouldn't even know because I'd be like I would have forgotten it. Like so in my head they always work these things.
I believe in change and the power that lies within change. I believe in something beyond myself, perhaps in the wind or the trees, something that gets me up out of bed in the morning. In a non-late-stage capitalist Western hegemony kind of way, I believe in myself as an individual and all the wonderful things my body is able to accomplish. I believe in community and collective action. I believe in the serendipity of me being here, in my right mind, to enjoy every single second of my wonderful changing life.